Welcome to the Google Educator Group Nagoya Maximize Gmail. What we wanted to be a YouTube Live event, but unfortunately we cannot screen share with YouTube Live at the moment. So we're going to do a Google Hangout anyway. There is a chat feature which we'll show you in a moment, so you can put your questions in there, or you can send them later to gegnagoya at gmail.com. So we're going to look at how you can use different features of Gmail more efficiently. We'll look at Drive apps, Google Calendar, Google Keep, Hangouts Chat, and other productivity features. But first, what is a Google Educator Group? GEGs are groups for educators who want to talk about educational technology that enhances learning and will grow their professional learning network. Check us out at gegnagoya.com and find us on Facebook and Twitter with the same name. Couple of shout outs for upcoming events. There are GEGs all over Asia Pacific and indeed the world. We have an online event for Asia Pacific on Sunday, October 13th, in a time zone across Asia. Actually, that's October 14th, I believe. It's a Sunday. Japanese time would be 8 p.m., but find your time zone. If you live in Nagoya or the area, we'll have a pub night at the Coat of Arms Pub and Restaurant in Fushimi on Friday, September 13th from 7 p.m. And we will actually go through this Gmail session again, and we're going to teach you how to use Google Classroom, and we're going to set you up with a temporary demonstration account where you can actually see what it's like to use these in a classroom setting and understand your student perspective. So if you come September 13th from 7 p.m. in Nagoya, bring a device. And a shout out, actually, to ETJ Aichi, the English Teachers of Japan Aichi branch, the frequent partners of GEG Nagoya. They have an event coming up on Sunday, September 27th from 10 a.m. at the Nagoya International Center. So you can find them at www.etjaichi.com. And of course, EdCamp Nagoya. They have an event coming up on November 24th on a Sunday. It is an unconference. And the unconference is basically teachers coming together to decide what topics they want to talk about that they may not get a chance to speak about when they go to a conference. So have a look for GEG Nagoya, ETJ Aichi, and EdCamp Nagoya. And today we're going to talk about maximizing Gmail. And these are some of the things that we're going to look at. We'll teach you to configure your inbox, star your email to find things a little bit more easily, using archiving and snoozing and finding unread mail and labels. Things like checking spelling, searching your email, settings, hover actions, your signature, just all that really cool stuff in Gmail that you might not know exists. And a few things that are not on this list as well. So I'm going to jump out of this screen share, and you're going to see me here in a minute, and we're going to jump into screen sharing Gmail. So we're going to jump over here, and hopefully you can see the GEG Nagoya Gmail right now. Now, the first thing that I'm going to point out is you can see here I've got this long list of emails, and it's not really nice to look at, and you've got to figure out, what is it from? Twitter? Is it from a certain person? Well, there's a really convenient way to organize this. And in Google, things like these drop down and up arrows and little gears, they are a good thing. So the first thing we're going to do is show you how to configure your inbox. So you click on this gear, and there you see configure inbox. So you're going to want to click on that. I'm going to go a little bit quickly here because you can go back and look at the video later. We will put this on YouTube. And so I've got my primary inbox, and that's what you start with. But then if I click on my social tabs, my promotional tabs, updates, and forums, I don't have to do them all, but whatever one I want. And you notice here too, as I mouse over, they give me examples of what I'm actually checking off. Well, if I click Save, voila. Now everything is auto-generated in terms of categorization. So I've got my social tabs here. It recognizes things like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Promotional material, that might could be from Twitter, but it could come from things like Amazon, or if you do some online shopping. My updates, quite often you're going to see here things like Google Docs that you share with people, or if you have an invitation to join a shared drive. We'll tell you what that is in another session. This is where you're going to find that. And then if you're chatting with people in certain forums, if you're in a Google group, that kind of thing, you're going to get updates in here. So it keeps things nice and easy and nicely organized. Now, one other thing here, a lot of people probably don't go up and use this menu. Now, there's a lot of real estate being used right here on the left. So if I just tap on that, it's going to make things a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to see. So I kind of like having these, kind of open up here. So I'm going to go back and do that. I hope you're with us so far. Now, the next thing we're going to do is show you this area right here, okay? Notice here we've got the word more and a down arrow. Like I said, arrows are good things, so you want to click on that, and you have all these other options of things that you can do. So what are these things? Well, first off, look at starred. Now, I might get some email that I think is kind of important. So I might star it. So here I've got an email from our friend Luis at the pub at Coat of Arms. So I'm going to click on that star because to me, it's kind of easy, kind of events. You notice here I've got events labeled. We'll teach you how to do that in a minute. I got two things starred that are kind of important. Let's say I've been using my account a long time. I have a lot of things starred. But if I click on starred on the left, it's going to take me only to the things that are starred. I'm going to undo those just for future's sake. And if I want, I can go back to my inbox, and while I'm in here, I can star these as well. Now, you can actually change the color of these stars, up to 5 different stars and 5 different colors. And we'll show you how to do that in a moment. But we're not done with this area right here. So I'm in my inbox, and let's say I've got an email that's kind of important, but I can't check that out right now. Well, what I want to do is either click here where it says snoozed, or as I mouse over it, I get the little snooze button here. So I'm going to tap on that, and it's going to give me some options. It's going to snooze until tomorrow, the weekend, or I can pick a date and time. So I'm just going to pick today, actually, and I'm going to go with 9 p.m. And I'm going to click save. And so now that's disappeared. But that's going to come back to me at 9 o'clock tonight. Let's say I want to check out, what was that I snoozed? I can't remember. I can just click on here, and it's going to take me to the things that I've clicked as snoozed. Maybe I want to undo it. I can tap right down here after tapping on my icon, and I can unsnooze it. Go back to my inbox, and there we are. Now, let's say you've sent an email and you're thinking, okay, did I send them an email or not? Different ways you can check. The fastest is right here, sent. And then I can see all the different emails that I have sent. Let's say I've sent a few mails. I don't need these anymore. I know they're gone in terms of my workflow. I'm going to tap on them, and I'm going to go up to my little trash can here. And I'm going to click, and you can see they've been moved to the trash. If I don't wait too long, I can click undo, and they're going to come back to me. The action's undone. But you know what? Let's throw them in the trash, because I want to show you that a little bit later. So again, here, the magic on the left sidebar. If I click on drafts, well, I can see that I've got a draft here that I've made a little bit earlier. We're going to show you actually that draft in a bit. But if you are creating drafts, emails that you haven't sent yet, they are automatically saved. And so you can go in, and then you can see that there is a draft there. Let's say you don't need those drafts, and then you can click here, discard draft, and that'll send it into your trash can. We're going to actually do that, discard that draft. I'm going to click down here on more, and if I scroll down, let's close that. I can see my trash can. I'm going to click on that. And I don't need these, so I can empty trash now, and it's going to empty all of them. Or after 30 days, it will automatically empty. Or I can just tap on the ones that I want to delete forever. So note that once you tap on it, those conversations are deleted forever. And you don't get a warning, so you're going to want to be careful. Okay? Now, here on the right side, I've got a little bit of a chat going on. This is like a real-time chat where you can have a conversation back and forth with people. We'll show you how to set that up and how it works in a moment. But I want you to notice that right here on the side, if I was to click on chats, it's going to take me to the chats that I have going on right now. Now, if you use this tool a lot, you might have a whole pile of chats in here, and If you want to just see what's there, you can click right there because you might end up hiding your right side chat. If you don't have it enabled, you're not going to see it, but you can see it right here. Now let's say you start an email. I'm going to click compose, and I'm going to choose who to send it to. And let's say I want to send it a little bit later. I don't want to send my email at some point in time right away. I want to send it later. When down here where I hit send, you see another one of those beautiful arrows that Google provides us. I'm going to schedule when I send. So I can send it tomorrow at a certain time. Maybe I can pick a date and time. I'm the kind of person I send email kind of late at night, but you never know. People might get notifications or they might just nag you and say, you sent that to me at like 2 in the morning. What are you, crazy? So I can schedule when I want to send it. So maybe I'm going to choose the 5th. Well, for the sake of this, I'm going to choose 1 hour from now at 9:11, and I'm going to schedule the send. I can undo it if I want. I can check the message out, or I can just click X, and I don't need that anymore. So basically, you can schedule when you want to send an email, which is quite convenient, especially if you want to go back and kind of edit and check things out. Now, you notice here that I've got important mail. If I click on this tab, I'm going to get the email from my inboxes that I have clicked this little kind of arrow. So let me go up to my inbox, and you'll see that I've got a couple here that I've tapped on. So if I tap these 4, and then I go back down here to more, and I click on what's important to me, I'm going to get all of them right there. It's another way to star your emails and kind of organize yourself a little bit. Now, this is a little bit here different than categories. We're going to tell you about those in just a moment. Now, if you want, underneath the chat here, you got all mail. If you click on that, it's going to give you all of your mail. So that means you're not going to have your nice organized inbox. That hasn't gone away, though. You can click inbox, and there you go. You still have all your different tabs. Now, you notice here, I've got these little things that say events and GEG Japan. Actually, let's just check the more. Sorry, we're going to go to that in a minute. Yeah, I clicked on more, and down here you see spam. Sometimes you get spam, you don't want it. Hooray, there's no spam here. Spam gets ditched every 30 days anyway, but you might be like me and you want to clean things up. This is where your trash is. We pointed that out before. If you want to empty your trash, you can empty your trash now. Let's just get rid of all of it. I'm going to click OK. I get the warning, and everything's been deleted, and it's gone forever. So let's go back up here to the inbox. Now, we've been talking here about your left sidebar, but when you tap on one of your emails that you've received or emails that you may have sent or snoozed or starred, if you click, you notice that you get a series of icons up here. Okay, now you've got one where you can archive. Let's say I don't need that mail anymore, but I just don't want to throw it in the trash. Well, then I can click on that and I can archive it. I'm not going to do that with any of these at the moment. Here, it could be spam, and I want to report that to Google, so I can tap on that, not going to do it now, and then spam will be sent. Again, I have my trash can if I want to delete it, and if I want to mark as I've read that email, don't have to read it again, you can tap that, and then that's going to put it away for you. Again, you can choose to snooze an email. If you want, you can move it if you have different labels and things. If I click on move, I can choose where I want to put it. Do I want that in my forums tab? Do I want it in my social tab? Remember, here I've got my promotions and social. Well, here I've got promotions that are Twitter. And, for me, I want all of these to go in my social tab. So let's say I tap up here. I've selected them all. I'm going to move them into my social tab. I go back here. Voila. There they are. Let's go back to the primary inbox. Now let me check that again. And I'm going to look at this thing called labels. Now labels are really, really useful. What is a label? Well, you notice here I've got these little gray things called GEG Japan. I've got events. They are ways for you to organize your email. So when you go to search for an email, you can find just the emails that have that label. So with Google Educator groups, we have a big Japan cohort. So I want to label this one for just Japan, but when I see events here, I know that's just for GEG Nagoya. So what I'm going to do is click on labels. Actually, I'm going to unlabel this one. I'm going to click on this. You notice it doesn't have a label. To me, that I think I'm going to call GEG Nagoya. So I'm going to tap on labels, and I can choose to put it in any of these tabs here or in one of my labels that you can see on the left sidebar. For this one, I'm going to create a new one. So I tap there, and I'm going to put GEG Nagoya. And then I'm going to click Create, and now you see I've got this label. And that's fine and dandy. Let's say I want to manage all of these labels. Well, I can tap any one of these, I can click on labels, and I can go here and click Manage Labels. And in here, I can make my changes. Show labels, hide labels. I can change the names, I can edit and remove them. We're not going to do that now, but I encourage you to play with that. I want to go back to my inbox though. And again, talking about labels, well, you notice they're right here. So if I want to see this label, just events, I'm going to tap on that. And you notice here that it's kind of disappeared. Well, maybe I want to get those back. So I'm going to go back to my inbox, and I know that they're there. I want to color these things a little bit, okay? Just so it's easier for me to see. So if I tap on these three dots right here, whoa, I can add a color. I mean, to me, GEG Japan, well, the flag's red, so I'm going to put a little red in there. Kind of like that. Whoa, I tapped the wrong ones, but you know what? That's okay. We'll keep events at red. Let's go with GEG Japan. Their soccer team plays in blue, so let's click on blue. And GEG Nagoya. Well, we're going to put, for the shachi, it's kind of yellow, we're going to make that yellow. Okay? So now I've got just a little bit of color. It's got that visual cue for me when I look at my email. It's a little bit prettier here in the sidebar. I kind of like the label thing. Now let's pause for a moment. Since we're labeling our emails here, why don't we figure out how we can format these stars a little bit more? Well, to do that, we've got to go up here to this gear. Remember, gears and down arrows, they're a good thing, okay? So first I'm going to click here. Remember, that's where we configured our inbox. But now what we're going to do is go to Settings. So I'm going to tap on Settings, and I have all these different things that I can do. We're not going to look at all of them right now because we're going to focus on those stars that we can help with our labels. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit, and voila. I've got these little stars and markers and exclamation points. So if I want, you can see that I can use 5 stars in total. Maybe I want to use a little bit of purple, so I'm going to click and drag one of those up there. So now I've got 2 stars in use. Let's say I want to put an email that, or a notice on an email that says, hey, I've already done that. I haven't deleted it yet, but it's done. How about a, hold on, this has to get done. I'm going to put that exclamation mark there. And maybe there's another one where I've got, a question. I'm not really sure. I want to try this. I'm going to stick another one in there. I'm going to click the I. That's 6. So at one point in time, you could only do 5 different stars. Obviously, now we can do a few more. So I'm going to get out of the settings here, but we're going to come back. Don't you worry. And I click on the inbox. Oh, I forgot to save my changes. That's the big thing. Go down, click Save Changes. Nice that we got that warning. Now, you notice here that I got these stars. The question is, when I tap a star, it goes yellow. Well, the nice thing is, if you tap it a number of times, 1, 2, right, 3, 4, you tap it to choose what's important. So for me, I want that question mark one on this. So I'm going to put that right there. Now we have a pub night coming up, and that's pretty urgent. So I'm going to tap, 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 tap until I get my exclamation mark. Again, it's another visual cue that helps you label your email and gives your inbox just a little bit more efficiency. Now, we're going to go back to our settings because settings and the gear is a wonderful thing. So we click on settings, and you notice here you've got display language. That's where you can choose whatever language you want to use. Now these are the ones, we're going to go through just the ones I think that you're going to use more. Your country code, sometimes when you buy apps online and that, you might get contacts through email. You might want to keep the code to the country that you're in. Now, in your inbox, sometimes you get loads and loads of email. I'm a teacher. We get a lot of email in a day. Sometimes people don't want all of that because it's overwhelming. So if I just choose, for example, 20, that means when I go down, in fact, let's go with 5. I'm going to go with, well, I'm going to go with 10. So let me click Save Changes here. Now my primary inbox doesn't really have a lot, but my social one does. But you notice now it's limited just to 10. If I want to click and find other ones, I guess I only have 8 in there, excuse me. But you would tap here to go and see older email up at the top, and it'll take you back. So we're going to go back to the inbox here. And I think we've got somebody who just joined the call here as we record this. So I'm just going to jump out and say, hey, how you doing? Feel free to have a look if you have any questions. Gary, I'm just going to keep narrating this, but I'm recording, so I'm going to jump out right now if that's okay. Okay, great. Right now we're actually into the settings thing. Can I ask you to mute your microphone and just unmute if you want to ask any questions? We're starting to go through the settings tab here. So we're jumping the settings tab. I've shown how we can just put 10 or maybe 20 or 25 emails in your inbox. Nice and easy. You can scroll down. Sometimes images are really heavy in your email. So do you want to display images that are sent to you, or do you want to be asked to do it? That's a nice feature. I'm going to click right here, always display external images. And other ones that you're probably going to use would be default text styles. Some people prefer to use a certain font, for example. If I like Comic Sans SM, I know a lot of people are anti-Comic Sans SM, but you got to admit it's kind of cool. So you could choose that. Okay, we're getting a lot of feedback there. Can we mute?
I'm using now my headset.
Okay, we're still getting it's okay now. Good. We're great. Thank you. That's our man in the Philippines, by the way, people. One of the GEG APAC people I was talking about earlier when we started. So again, if you want certain text to appear every time you use your mail, you can do that. You can change the color. I work with a colleague who loves green, and his emails are always green. Another feature that you might actually see is this dynamic email. If you have that set, what's nice about it is when somebody sends you an email with a comment in a Google Doc. Now, I'm not going to open a Google Doc right now, but in Google Docs, you can comment on text and things like that. When they send you an email, if they send it directly to you by typing your email address, like plus, for example, nathangildard@gmail.com, plus gegnagoya@gmail.com, your inbox and in your email, you'll be able to comment because you have a dynamic email. So you can comment in real time. You don't have to open the doc, which is really useful if you want to reply to people. Saves you time. So we're going to move down a little bit. You notice here I've got my keyboard shortcuts on. There's another little tab up here I'll bring you to in a minute. But shortcuts are really good. If you want to compose and you're like me and lazy, you just tap C and you're going to be able to compose an email very quickly. I'll show you in a moment. If you want to have your picture, you'll notice this is me who I started a chat with, but this account we're going to, that we're broadcasting from is GEG Nagoya. And so this, you'll see, appears here across anything Google I use from this account. So you might want to put your picture in there. And finally, your signature. Now, you might have certain titles. You're a PhD, a master's degree holder. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're a principal. Maybe you're an organization and you want people to go to your website, your Twitter account, and Facebook. You simply type that in. You can change the font. You can underline. You can bold. If I wanted to bold these things, I can go boom, just like that. If you want, you can insert an image. I tend not to do that because it weighs your email down, and some people don't like that. So I usually leave it as text now. Now, one other thing that you can do is show snippets. Now, what that does is in your inbox, just like you see here, you can see the start of a message. Now, the thing is, if that start of a message is, oh man, that person is such a jerk, and somebody notices your inbox, they're going to see that. So you can show your snippets because I have good friends and they don't actually say things like that. It doesn't matter if it appears. Or you could choose no snippets and you're not going to see what the first line of that email is. What's good about it is if you see that little snippet, a little line of the email, you can see if it's something you really have to talk about now or if you can put it aside and wait for later. One last thing that you might use is the vacation responder. If you're going on vacation, you want people to know that, hey, I'm not available right now, then you can click on that and you can choose the date from when you start and when you end. You can put a subject in and say, sorry, I'm on vacation. Not going to do that right now. And then you can put a text. Sorry, I'm out of the office right now, but I'll get back to you after summer vacation. See you in 2 months. Okay, but I'm going to keep that off. Now I did make a few changes, so I'm going to click Save Changes. And it's going to bring me back to my inbox. Now I mentioned earlier those keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to go to my keyboard and I'm just going to hit C. Beautiful, it just popped up. I don't have to put the work into going over and clicking the compose button. How did that happen? Well, let me minimize this because I'm going to show you something else in a minute. I went to my settings. Again, gears and drop-down arrows are beautiful things within Google. Now here I've got these different tabs, okay? And we're going to show you some of the things you can do. Now, if you want to click on the keyboard shortcuts, the cool thing is it has these automatic keyboard shortcuts. If you want to forward a mail, you just tap F. If you want to go to your inbox, you tap GI. But maybe you're not going to use all of these. I certainly don't. Let's say I want to search my email. I can just type S instead. So this means if I delete that and I tap S, it's going to go to my search. Or I can keep that there and it doesn't matter which one I use. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to click Save. One action per key. Whoops, I forgot that. So I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to go down. I'm going to save it. What is going on? That shouldn't work. Tell you what. Oh, I've got S somewhere else. That is my problem. So tell you what, let's do that. I'm going to put SS. I'm going to save it. And now I'm back in my inbox. And if I want to search my email, which I can do up here, and I'm going to show you later, I just tapped SS. And it's brought me right up here. I don't have to tap. Let's say my cursor is out here. I hit tap my SS, and it's brought me in there, or that backslash. I'm not going to show you search mail just yet because I'm not finished with settings. So let's go back into settings. And if I want to work on mail offline, I'm going to tap right here, and then I'm going to choose whatever settings that I want. I'm not going to do that now because I don't really use my mail offline because I've got my phone. But I encourage you to have a look at that. Something else you might use is this chat. You notice on the side here, I've got what is a chat. So I'm going to tap on chat, and you notice that I have it on. If I want to turn it off, once I save my changes, this will disappear, and I'm going to have more real estate in my inbox. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to click Cancel. How does that chat work, though? Now, I sent a message to me, but I'm going to actually click Chat, and I'm going to send a note. Oh, I don't know if I have Gary and our man Gary watching here. No, we don't have him in Gigi Nagoya. We're gonna have to change that. Sorry about that, Gary. But if I want, let's say I'm going to send a chat even to myself, right? That means I should have sent a message to my other account. So I've got a chat going on here. If I click on this, you notice that I've sent a message to myself. I haven't responded to myself, but I am going to open up my Hangouts chat here. And I'm going to reply from my personal account. So I'm just tapping hi. I'm going to send something, and you notice I just got a message back from myself. All right, so this is a really quick way to just communicate with people. Now, something else you can do too is add other people to the conversation. Or if I want, I can create a new group. So if I was to add that, I create a group, and now I've got a group chat going on while I still have this chat happening. Let's say I want to use a Google Hangout and have a video conference. All I had to do is tap this, and then it's going to prompt a video call. That's going to mess up this right now. So you see, I turned it off, but I had just sent a call, and it was nice and easy to do it just like that. Now, I will point out, if you have your chat activated, you can actually just go right up here and tap on that video camera icon, and that's going to give you your chat. Or do the same thing that you just saw a moment ago. Something else, though, if you go and you mouse over a person's name, you're going to get their profile and stuff. And wow, look at that. You can send a message through chat. You can start a video call. If you're on a big campus or a campus with multiple buildings, why not do a video call with somebody across in another building before you walk all the way over there to have a chat with them? I actually do that. We're going back to settings because there's too much cool stuff in there. Tap on my gear, because gears are good things. And if you want to work on those labels that we talked about before, you can manage them in there. If you want to work on things like your inbox, again, configure your tabs. You can do that there. Filters and blocked addresses we're not going to get into. If you do want to block certain addresses, that's where you would go and do that. I do want to bring you to this thing called Advanced. Now, Advanced is kind of important because there's cool stuff you can do. Now, my custom keyboard shortcuts, I've clicked Enable. That's why I could click SS to make that keyboard shortcut. Now, you can always use keyboard shortcuts, but only the ones that Google tells you, unless you click Enable under the Advanced tab. The right side chat that you see here, you have to click Enable because it's not automatically there. If you want the unread message icon in your email, you have to enable it. Yes, you can click on a message that's been unread. If you've read a message, you can click it so that it's not been read before, even though you have read it. Auto advance it means that you can advance to the next conversation after you've read one. I don't like that, so I've kept it disabled. Multiple inboxes, it kind of does clutter up your inbox. I will show you how to use that if we have time in a bit. And a preview pane, it shows you messages on the side in a list. You might want to play with that a little bit, but you probably won't. One other thing though is, all right, so, and this last one, canned responses, I'll show you in just a moment. If you want to click on themes, you can set your theme to whatever Google suggests. Unfortunately, if you can send your own photos in, that's good, but you can't actually search the internet and do that. I'm going to cancel that for a moment and go right back to Advanced. If you want to change themes, though, I will point out you can go up to your gear and you can choose it from there as well. We're going back to Advanced because this is beautiful. Canned responses. Okay. Now, if you click Enable, what this means is you can create a template for an email. It says template right there. So let's say you email your sports team or your club or your department that you lead, or maybe all of your colleagues. Then you can do a canned response. First thing you have to do is click Enable. So I've done that. I'm going to go down. I have nothing to save because I didn't make any changes. So I'm going to go back to my inbox. And notice earlier I tapped C and I've got a new message. Well, maybe I don't want to actually type in the subject. Maybe I don't want to type in the text. I only want to put in a line of new stuff. So since I click canned responses, I go down to my little buttons here, and you notice it says canned responses. Well, what I've done is actually saved a canned response already, this canned response example. I'm going to tap on that, and boom, there I go. I get my subject, I got the mail I want. Maybe I want to add one thing. Oh, by the way, I love you guys. And then I can send it, or of course I can schedule to send it tomorrow. That's a canned response. Now the question is, how do I do that? Well, let me just kind of copy that. I'm going to trash this. How do I make a canned response? Well, I can either tap on compose or hit C on the keyboard. Maybe I want a subject of how to make a canned response. I'm going to go in, I'm going to go, hi everyone. By the way, I love you guys. Meet. Now, this is just a regular email at the moment, but because in my gear and settings, I set up canned responses, I'm going to go down here on more options. I'm going to click those three buttons and I'm going to go to canned response and I want to save that as a draft template. So what I'm going to do is go over here and I'm going to go save as a new template. Now the name's automatically going to be how to. You might want to change that to something else. So like how to, I'm going to put team message. So I know that's going out to my team. I'm going to click save. I can send this email. Haven't given a recipient yet. Let's just send it to myself. Actually, let's not go to the leaders. All right, let's send that. And that mail came. But you notice that that was a canned response. And if I open her up, everybody gets what I've just sent. And I made it with a template. Pretty cool stuff. Now, moving along the list here, what I would like to do is show you how you can search in Gmail. Now, surprisingly, a lot of people I notice, at least people around me, they don't tend to use search. Now, if I want, I could just type in, if I know exactly what I'm looking for, I've typed in pub night, and we've had a couple of them already. So if I tap that, then I can see all the emails that have the words pub night. But sometimes that's not enough. I might need these beautiful down arrows. Remember, gears and arrows. So let's say it's something that I know exactly who it's from. So I type in, because I know it's my man Steve, and maybe it has certain words. I'm going to put the word event. Maybe I know it was an email about 2 weeks ago. I don't know, so I'm not going to put it in there. Maybe it was a large file because it had a PDF in it or something. Maybe it has an attachment. Maybe I actually remember the subject. Well, I'm not really sure. So I'm going to click search and woohoo, he comes up, but obviously there's not something with event in it. So I'm going to tap right there, delete the word event, see how I can edit up here. I'm going to tap and whoa, there's that email from my man Steve I was looking for. Not finished showing you how you can search in Gmail. So if I click on those beautiful down arrows again, I want you to remember these labels that we made right here. Maybe I'm trying to find an email in GEG Japan, and I only want to look through GEG Japan. Down at the bottom here, I tap on that beautiful bottom arrow, right? See, right now it says search all mail. Nuh-uh, don't want to do that. I click and I'm going to go down and I'm going to find GEG Japan. And I'm going to tap on that. I'm going to click search, and there's my mail from GEG Japan. And of course, I can do any other kind of editing and things like that if I want. I'm not going to do that right now. But that's another way that you can search for mail. So have a play with the different sizes and attachments and things like that. Way quicker than going into your inbox and scrolling through a whole bunch of stuff. Now there's two last things I want to show you that are really important, I feel, for organizing yourself. You see right here on the left, we've got these icons, calendar, Google Keep, and tasks. You're going to see these in all of your Google Drive apps. You will see it in Gmail. You will see it in Google Slides. You will see it in Google Docs. You will see it in Google Sheets. You will see it in Google Calendar. You're going to see it everywhere in your slides. Well, that's a good thing because we're busy people. So if I just click on, for example, Google Keep, it's a way I organize my to-do list. So here we had some event ideas we were talking about. Well, let's say suddenly I'm in my Gmail and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Email about pub night. Put a title, pub night, and if I want, I can archive it. I can open it up in the app Google Keep. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you how you do that in a minute. Maybe it's important, but I want to pin it to my Google Keep, which I'll show you in a moment. I'm going to click done, and now I've got another thing. Now that's nice and easy because if I go to Google Calendar, which I have open right here, and I click on Keep, you're going to see that I've got those 2 notes right there. If I go to Google Slides, you notice it is right there. It doesn't matter what app I'm in, I can just double check what it is that I have to do. Now, how is it that you make Google Keep really sweet? Well, go into your Omnibox. This thing at the top here is called your Omnibox. You type in keep.google.com and you tap, and while you're logged into your Gmail account, it is going to open it up. Now, you see I've got my tabs here. This one was important to me, so I pinned it to the top. I can unpin that if I want, and then everything's going to come together. So let's say I want to take a note. I'm going to put, let's see, GEG APAC event. Actually, I'm going to cut that and I'm going to make it my title. And let's say I have a to-do list, right? So we have a Google form we have to make. We have to set up lives, blah, blah, blah. Well, here, if I go to my little buttons, I can turn those into checklists. Now, this isn't a Google Keep session, so we're not going to go about all the things you can do with Google Keep, but 2 things that are important. One, I like to use color because it helps me identify what I have to do. And you can share. So I'm going to save that with somebody else in my organization. And now I can see all the other people have access to this. So I'm going to close that. I'm actually going to go put a couple of colors in these other ones here. Now you notice here I've got event ideas. If I tap on that, see that had that little Gmail thing? Well, I sent a Gmail and I sent a message to my man Steve about event ideas, and it was right there in Google Keep. And it's going to pull it right up in my mail for me to quickly access. Okay, it could not be loaded. Don't know why, but that's okay. Maybe I deleted the conversation. There's other things you can do with Google Keep. I suggest you play with it, but for now I'm going to close it so we can go back to our Gmail. And so I tap on my Google Keep icon, and hey, there's my stuff. And let's say I haven't set up the live, but I'm working on the form. I can tap that, and I can still see my completed items, right? I got my down arrows to hide it. I can click done, and I can go about my business with other things, and I can close the keep. Now, there's another thing here called tasks. If I tap on that, it might not allow me to do it. So I have to click get started, and I've got to access setting up my tasks. Let's say I want to do email my man Gary. Maybe I've got to create form for pub night. Okay, so I've got all these things that I have to do. I'm going to close that. Let's say I'm in a Google slide deck and I click on my tasks. Whoa, there are my tasks and they're done. Good. If I can click, maybe I can add a date and a time and that kind of thing. Again, tasks is another separate app, but maybe I've already made that form. I can tap on that and it's beautifully disappeared. I don't have to think about it ever again. Again, the nice thing about Keep is when you tap on that, you can still go back and see what your list was and what you did. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you here is calendar. If you tap on that, what do I have coming up today? Or, what does my schedule look like? Whoa, I don't really have a lot to do, just, things that are happening in Japan. Maybe it's my day schedule. I'm looking pretty loose here. I don't really have a lot to do, but if I tap on a certain time, I can set up an event. We'll call this Gmail. We're going to call it all day. I'm going to change the date. Let's just put it on the 14th for whatever. I can attach this slide deck. I can save it or I can edit it in Calendar. I'm going to click Save right now. So if I do actually go to my Google Calendar, let me just refresh that. And on the 14th, I should have something there. Okay, things are going a little bit slow. And because I'm in Calendar, you can't see that there. All right, so we had an issue with that. Perhaps I didn't save it. Let's go back to the 14th and find out why. Okay, I do have something scheduled there. Let me edit in calendar. We'll close this calendar while we wait. So maybe I want to add notifications. This is not a calendar event, so I'm not really going to worry about that. I am going to click save though. And I should be getting a notification at some point in time. Apologies, doesn't always work. We'll go back and make sure that when we present this at the pub night next weekend, we have that sorted out. But at least you do have that calendar task in here. Now, we're going to head right back to Gmail. And one last thing that I think we'll point out is your input for your keyboard, right? You can choose like different tool settings and things like that. You might want to focus, kind of decide what you like to do. So just to wrap things up, we've looked at your inbox and how to configure it so that you've got different tabs to organize your mail. We've looked at your sidebar here on the left that gives you all these quick access tools. And we've looked at the settings tab, which allows you to do things like setting up your right side chat. And of course, we've looked at the other features in settings like canned responses, the inbox where you can set up your signature and things like that. So go back in the video and review if you want. If you're not sure about how to do these things, send us an email at gegnagoya@gmail.com and we'll get back to you. It might take a little bit of time because this GEG thing is kind of a hobby. So let me just go back and move along just for a couple of shout outs here. So if you do live in Nagoya, just a reminder that Friday, September 13th, we have a pub night at the Coat of Arms pub. We are going to go through this Gmail thing and we're going to be on site to help you out for the first hour if you need it. And then we're going to give you a demo account, well, for Gmail, but also for Google Classroom. And we're going to spend a good hour talking about Google Classroom, and you're going to look at it from the student and the teacher perspective. And we're going to be there to help you out. Great tool for organizing your students' learning. Now, our next online, YouTube Live, hopefully we'll be able to share through YouTube, is going to be September 25th, 8 p.m. Japan Standard Time. It would be 7 p.m. in some places and 6 p.m. in others if you're in Southeast Asia. And we'll teach you how to organize your Drive apps, your Team Drive, collaboration and communicating effectively with your colleagues and your students. And very quickly, let's go back to say thanks to ETJ Aichi and EdCamp Nagoya, who kind of help us out from time to time. Again, ETJ Aichi has an event coming up on September 27th, Sunday from 10 a.m. at the Nagoya International Center. Check out their website at etjaichi.com and edcampnagoya.com. They have an unconference coming. It's free to participate. November 24th, again on a Sunday, and you get to talk about the things you don't usually get to talk about at your conferences and workshops and sessions and professional development you go to. And finally, we are GEG Nagoya. GEGnagoya.com. Check out our website, see our events. We're going to do 6 of these online sessions between now and December, so we got 5 more to go. If you send us an email, we will send you a certificate. So mail us at gegnagoya@gmail.com, and we'll send you a digital certificate telling you that you've participated in this session. And again, we have a pub night on the 13th of September, Friday, at Coat of Arms Pub. Thank Coat of Arms for that. We hope to see you again. We're going to go back and stop sharing our screen. We hope you got something out of this, and we will see you again.